Welcome to Justice Losers, the podcast where we discuss entertainment and media, namely movies. You got me.
I'm in your head.
You did it. You got in my head. Movies, TVs, and comics. I'm your host, Preston, joined as always by my delightful co-host.
Did that.
I'm not drunk. You're drunk.
Matt, it's me. Hey, everybody.
Matt, what should people do?
Like, subscribe, and check out our Instagram highlights.
This is part four. Part four.
Part four.
Part four of a four-part series of the development of the superhero identity. The culture of a superhero. And part of that you and I believe, part of the superhero
don't rope
culture
me into this,
is that supervillains are about okay, so for me, I personally believe that you can't have a superhero without a supervillain. You know, through all the progression of this time, like Robin Hood, Theseus, they've had to come against something that is worth the brilliance of a very intelligent vigilante or the power of an ancient Greek demigod. Things like that. They needed to go against them. You can't just go against Tom the burglar. You need something to at least make it interesting, which is where this premise of supervillain comes from. And
need conflict.
As long as there's been a superhero or a hero or along those lines, there have been the supervillains.
Yep.
Disclaimer. This is not my original ideas. I generally had like the thoughts, but same book as last time. It is The Superhero, The Secret Origin of a Genre by Peter Coogan.
Right. I remember you telling me that title before.
And this is another chapter in that book that I just read. I actually read it this time instead of skimming very quickly to get notes for that episode. I actually read this. I want to tie it a lot more into the past episodes we've had. Also, the episode about antagonists. So let's start talking about villains. We have the monster, we have the enemy commander, we have the mad scientist, the criminal mastermind, and the inverted superhero supervillain.
Okay.
Let's go through those one by one and let's just talk about like what kind of what they do with the story.
Okay.
So the monster. These probably tend to be a little more one-dimensional. It's just I'm hungry or I'm Godzilla and I'm gonna stomp on the city. Except apparently he's like the good guy in all these. So I don't know. Not necessarily. A couple other examples are Killer Croc.
Okay. He's got a little more complexity to him.
He's got some He does.
Is there an element of like social isolation, social outcast because you're monstrous?
Yeah, isolationist. Like, my thing here is like a twisted image of humanity in some way. Okay.
We're scared of it because we're scared we could become it. Like that's the worst. It's in ourselves. This is going back to one of our Halloween episodes.
Oh yeah,
I don't
for
remember.
Sure is.
Was it the werewolf one?
Yes. Yeah, it's fear of it and fear of becoming it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a very interesting dynamic with superheroes. Like kind of the stories that are told with the monster tends to be, it's just this, it's attacking and needs to be put down in a way.
Yeah, but there's an element of pity to it.
Yeah, it's kind of a moral quandary for the villain or for the hero often.
Yeah, I'm thinking of just a particular panel from Long Halloween where Batman leaves a Thanksgiving dinner in the sewer for Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
There's that pity, that sympathy, but like, you're not okay. You gotta stay down here in the sewer, and if you come at me, I'm gonna punch you.
Let's move on from Monster a little bit. We kind of got a good understanding. Let's talk about the enemy commander.
Okay.
What would the enemy commander do in the context of a story? What kind of threat do they face?
They usually tend to be sort of a big, dominating, take over the world or galaxy or universe kind of threat. They're often very much driven by like a sense of order or by a particular, I guess, moral code or just lust for power.
Yeah.
And they want to impose that on everybody.
Yeah.
And they have a lightsaber to do it with.
Yeah, no, you're right. My two main kind of key points were conquerors and a threat to life. Oftentimes when there's an enemy commander it is they are coming to the hero's home place in some way. That is when they're invading. another common trope with what would you think is like a main plot point if the hero is going to the home place of the invader? So of the enemy. Like, let's say Luke Skywalker going to the Death Star. What do you think? Wait, didn't really happen in the movie.
He's got to overcome a lot of little enemy minions.
A lot of minions. Unending force.
Yep.
Just, I mean, every time Batman goes to the League of Shadows, just, so many.
Ninjas to the left, ninjas to the right. Don't know where this is coming from, but I'll do it all night.
What kind of themes play into that?
Power and dominance versus, or like order versus freedom.
There's often a very imperialistic fear that is played into stories.
Yeah, exactly. The sort of the threat to your way of life. Oftentimes it's a tradition versus progress mechanism. You see that a little bit. Like I'm thinking of Saruman from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He kind of comes in and Treebeard says, yeah, he has a mind of metal now, and he's breaking down the old society to control it in his new reshapen image. Invading
Middle Earth.
Invading, dominating, and reworking.
Okay, so that's the enemy commander. Mad scientist. What makes a mad scientist interesting?
That they're not really in it for the villainy. They're in it for the creative aspect of it. I'm thinking of Dr. Poison from Wonder Woman. Maybe a better written version of Dr. Poison from Wonder Woman. Sort of Mr. Freeze from Batman, although he does have like an ulterior motive beyond just the creativity of it.
Yes, it is that. It is the desire, what I have written is the desire for science eclipses morality. While it is the simplest to identify and categorize, I also find it one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah.
Because it does also, because I'm so like, I often struggle with my faith because of my drive for science and understanding scientific things. This just naturally makes it really interesting. It's just like I'm reading a book or watching a show or something that's a mad scientist villain, and they're like, yeah, I can literally just like prolong your life, and it's like, yeah, but you're being a bad guy doing it. And I'm like, but like, he cured cancer. Like, what are you gonna really like? Criminal Mastermind. What's their deal?
They're kind of in it for the fun of the thing. They want to outsmart people. Well, I'm thinking specifically of the Riddler for that
Riddler's
case.
obsession is being the smartest person, and depending on the story, Batman 0 Year, which is kind of first time Riddler showed up, it was he felt people were stupid, and so he was holding them captive until they were smarter. But a criminal mastermind, not a whole lot of moral issues going on.
Yeah.
Rather intellectual.
Yeah. So I guess there probably are more than, there's two categories here then, at least that I'm seeing. There is more of the Riddler type, or maybe even like the Hannibal Lecter, where they're just like, they want to be the smartest person in the room. They think they are. It's sort of an ego thing almost. They're smart and they're outside the bounds of society's control. Yeah. They do what they want. And then there's also the sort of Kingpin, Lex Luthor type criminal mastermind, where they're more of a manipulative string puller, and they sort of have that commander instinct for power and domination and imposing their particular order on the world, but their means are much more subtle.
Yeah. It often provides an intellectual boost for the hero in the story. Like the goal of using the hero or using a mastermind like this is to tell the audience that the hero's smart. I think there's essentially, so for the mad scientist, it's to give you the moral level of the hero. Is to make you think that the hero is very morally high standing and is not willing to sacrifice human lives for science or whatever. The enemy commander is their ability to overcome severe forces. Because the enemy commander, you get you got Batman punching through 800 people. Like his ability to just handle that. With the monsters, to show their soul, their heart, for larger. And I think, so your example in year one where he gave it, or Long Halloween, he gave Solomon Grundy some food because it's like, hey, buddy, you're just...
You can't really help it.
Yeah. I think the Criminal Mastermind is the most, like, it's just intelligence. Look at how smart Batman is. Look at how smart Spider-Man or Daredevil or whoever you are.
Yeah. Well, this is why Lex Luthor is such a great Superman villain, because it challenges him to be intelligent or to beat that intelligence.
Yep. And then inverted superhero supervillain. Yeah, just a different version. Just like usually fillers. Yeah. Honestly, in comics. Really, though, I think anytime you do make one of these interesting, it tends to fall into one of the other categories. Whiplash. Yeah. Whiplash is just an inverse of I keep saying Batman, Iron Man, but also he could have been a mad scientist.
Yeah, he is a little bit.
He's a little bit, but had they done that better, had they done him more interestingly, he could have been a little bit more of a mad scientist. Assuming, I think I've done this to you before.
Assuming they're all good, yeah.
Yeah, assuming they're all equal quality good.
Yep.
Which one do you think is more interesting to you? So, for example, for mine was mad scientist is probably mine because I am very scientific minded. Right. And it does give me, we've talked about what makes me like stories is when I feel dread. Terrible for the emotional state, but but that one, it makes me think.
I was going to say the Criminal Mastermind, but the Criminal Mastermind subcategory, well, no.
What appeals to you with each of them?
With the monster, I like the fact that pity and you get some of these kind of different feelings in there.
Yeah.
The lack of control and the just I really like versions of Killer Croc where he's kind of just, he's doing his own thing and then Batman bursts in once a month and beats him up. Let's see. The Criminal Mastermind, I like the ones that are I don't generally like the sort of ego driven, I want to feel smarter than you. Those never really compel me, I guess.
Yeah.
But I like the ones that are kind of pulling strings behind the scenes that are always in control because it always feels like they're one step ahead. And so the hero has to come up with some creative ways to figure out how to get at them, I guess. Right. Enemy Commander. That one I think can kind of just be kind of a fun, oh yeah, they're really good at their job. They're really good at being bad. I like that. And if they're, well done as just sort of a scenery chewer or just an imposing, scary type. Inverted hero. I like it when it's not just an inversion that is evil and punches them, but is somehow an inversion of their moral beliefs. And the example I'm thinking of is Killmonger from Black Panther.
Yes, that is a very good.
I mean, sure, they're just CGI guys in cat suits that hit each other until one of them decides to die. But it's the writing of the character that creates this. It's a challenge to the ideals of the character. They're
polar opposite origins. They're polar opposite morals.
They challenge the hero. The hero wins, and the hero learns something about themselves from what could have been themselves. Right. Mad scientist. That one might be the one that appeals to me most as well, but for a different reason. I like the passion for creativity and for just dedication to one thing, and maybe part of me secretly wishes that I could just be passionate and creative and not have to care about morality and how many people I slaughter to do so.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah.
Supervillains have throughout time given an opportunity for the hero to develop skills, whether it be ethical, moral, intellectual, or brute strength.
Sure.
And ability. Allowing for, and throughout time, supervillains have just given that hero an opportunity to do such with very particular archetypes.
Okay.
Aforementioned archetypes. I don't feel like reading them again.
Good lad.
Hey guys, Preston here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw here, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we upload these every Thursday. If you want to hear more, we have an unabridged version on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and any other podcast app. Check us out on Instagram at JusticeLosersPod. See you next week.